Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is just sharing some of my own tips and tricks that helped me along the way with perfecting the way my makeup looks. I am not a makeup artist. I am not saying that I am perfect at doing makeup, nor am I, Miss Know-It-All. But a lot of people do come to me and ask me certain questions on how to, make certain things look better or how to apply lashes. So in this video, I'm going to try to show you guys and discuss the best ways to, apply things, as well as try to find like the best techniques that could help you along the way. So if you're interested in learning some of my tips and tricks, keep on watching. Okay, so I applied my foundation as well as I did apply some eyebrow tint to my eyebrows. Concealer. Every now and then people come to me and they're like, I put on my concealer, but it looks creasy, it looks cakey, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I know what you guys are thinking, YouTube, there's YouTube, I know. But not everyone that I personally know watch YouTube. Not everyone are like us and binge on makeup tutorials and stuff. Like they don't, it's a whole nother world that a lot of people actually are not into yet. So they don't know all the tips and tricks out there. So I promised everyone that I knew that I would create this video for them and go over things and just try to keep it nice and simple for them. So when it comes to prepping your under eye, because it all comes down to prepping your under eye. So at night, whenever I'm doing my nighttime routine and my face products, I love to put on a heavy, thick moisturizer under my eye. That's really going to moisturize my under eye and make it nice and plump for the next day. Now in the mornings, on the day of doing my makeup, I don't like putting a moisturizer under my eye that is as heavy as the one I use at night. I like to use a lighter moisturizer. That way my concealer isn't slipping and sliding on top of it, and the concealer actually can get to my skin and, blend into my skin. But you do want to moisturize your under eye, especially if you are wearing makeup and you're going to be applying concealer. So that way your under eye is nicely moisturized and it's not going to be dry, or it's not going to be dry patches, and then the concealer and foundation is not going to just stick to it. One of the products that I use to prep my skin is from Physicians Formula, and it is their Refreshment Cucumber and Bamboo Eye Depuffer. And this is what it looks like. Again, it is cucumber and bamboo, and it's just a stick, and you just take off the top. It does come with a little cap on it to keep it nice and fresh. It looks like that. And then this is what it looks like. You just wind it up and you just apply it to your skin, or you can put it on your finger and dab it onto your under eye. It's all up to you. But not only does this depuff the eye area, and it's so nice and cooling, and you don't even have to keep it in the fridge, but it's also moisturizing. Like my under eye is just so moisturized after applying this. So you can use something as little as this. This is like $7 and change at Walmart. And it will do the trick for you before applying your makeup. Now if you want to go a little step further, then you can apply a under eye cream, something light, something maybe water-based, nothing oily, nothing too thick or heavy, because again, you don't want your makeup slipping and sliding and sitting on top of that moisturizer. You actually want it to, go into your skin and blend. So one of the moisturizers that I use on my under eye is actually not an under eye moisturizer, it's a face moisturizer. It is from e.l.f. and it is their Daily Hydrating Moisturizer, and it is lightweight. It is not scented like to the amount where it's gonna like irritate my under eye. Like there's barely any scent to it. It is infused with purified water and skin nourishing jojoba, aloe, vitamin E, and cucumber to help soothe and protect the delicate skin area. Because it's so lightweight, I just take a small pea size and I just dab it underneath my eye if I need a little bit more moisture, and then it's perfect. It just sinks into the skin. Your skin will absorb it and love you for it. Under eye will be nice and prepped for your makeup. So once your under eye is prepped, your face is prepped, and of course you want to go in with your primer, your foundation, and then next is your concealer. So how I apply my concealer, now this one is from Wet n Wild. It is their Photo Focus Concealer. You can use whatever concealer that you like. This one is in a shade lighter than my skin tone because I do like my under eye a little bit brighter than the rest of my face. So this one is in light ivory. All right, so I'm just gonna apply this to my under eye. And you can do the triangle if you want. You can just keep it right under your eye. It's totally up to you. And then I'm gonna take my beauty sponge and just blend it out. And then of course I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Now you can see here how this side is more brighter and has a little bit more coverage than this side right here. Like you can see the difference. So once your concealer is on, you do want to make sure you're setting your concealer. So the powder that I like to use is just a sheer under eye powder from e.l.f. Again, this is very affordable. It is small, but it comes with a good amount of powder because it is only for your under eye. So of course, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you do not have any creases under your eye. So you just want to go back in, make sure you dab out all the creases. Because if you set your under eye when there is creases there, you're just gonna set those creases and you're not gonna be able to get rid of them. And then you just go back and forth. And then whatever's left on the brush, I always just take it on top of my eyelid because I usually just take concealer and put it over my eyelid just to prep for whatever eyeshadow that I'm going to use. And then before you move on to the next eye, again, just make sure that no creases are there because sometimes concealers are very quick to start creasing. Now, obviously, of course, you're not gonna have the perfect, flawless under eye. Now, there's a lot of powders, there's a lot of concealers that can go a little bit better with whatever under eye situation you have. But you know, you're going to have a little bit of fine lines, you're going to have maybe a little bit of creasing, but all these steps that I'm giving you is going to just help improve the creasing and the fine lines and the cakiness and maybe like the dry patches that you might have underneath your eye. So my next tip is how to spot conceal and actually make it work. So I have two concealers here. The one is the one that I just used under my eye, which is in light ivory. The second one is light to medium beige. Now this is the one that I like to use all over my face for spot concealing. So I just look at my face and see what I would want to spot conceal. So there is a pimple on my chin that maybe I want a little bit more coverage, so I would just dab it onto whatever, you know, pimple. I have a beauty mark right here. I usually don't really care too much about covering it up, but I will for the sake of the video. There's another pimple that's showing through right here. We're just gonna kind of leave it at that just for the sake of the video not being super long. Then this is an eyeshadow brush that I got so long ago. It is an angled, used to be a flat top angled eyeshadow brush. This is what it looks like. It is very old. I don't know where I got it from, but I do love this brush though for spot concealing. So whatever brush that you have in your collection, or maybe whatever brush that you might find that is similar to this out in Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, wherever you shop for your brushes, Ulta. What I do is I don't take my beauty blender and dab it like foundation. I don't use my finger. I use something a little bit more precise. And I'm just gonna dab it, but not like, you'll see. And I'm just gonna kind of dab at it. So I'm dabbing right on top of it to start blending, and then I'll use it to blend it out. But using a sponge like this is going to keep the coverage there versus going in with a makeup, like a foundation brush or a beauty sponge, just kind of soak up the product, and then the coverage is no longer going to be on top of the mark that you were trying to cover. And I just start going around it. And then you can go in with the pointy side of your beauty sponge and kind of just blend around it. You don't want to go actually on top of the beauty mark, which you can see that this beauty mark is a dark one, so this concealer is not good at covering it. And obviously if you want a full coverage concealer that's going to be able to cover up really red pimples or beauty marks or birthmarks or whatever you're trying to cover up, make sure your concealer that you're using is full coverage and is made kind of for that. The Wet n Wild concealers are pretty good, but they're not super full coverage. So if you want a good full coverage concealer, I would maybe look into the Tarte Shape Tape or a concealer that is similar to that, so that way you would have that actual full coverage. But even with this concealer, it's still like this technique makes it work better than if I just put on some concealer and then right away went in with a beauty sponge. So I'm using the beauty sponge right now, but I'm not actually going on top of the mark. I'm just blending it around the skin. That way you don't see where the concealer starts and where the foundation starts. It just kind of blends in together. Just like when you're blending in your concealer to your foundation under your eye. Right after you do your foundation, your under eye, and your spot conceal, then that's when you can go in with your powders, and you can go in and make sure that you set your whole face so that way your foundation or your concealer is not slipping and sliding all around. You don't want to overset your under eye, so we did already use the e.l.f. powder to set the under eye, so you don't want to overdo it because then you will get a little cakey under there. So now you can just focus on setting the rest of your face with whatever powder you want to use. Alright, so as you can see, I finished the rest of my makeup. So my last tip and trick is lashes, which I know for a lot of people it's not the easiest thing to do, and it really isn't the easiest thing to do for anyone. Basically, my number one tip for lashes is practice. Lots of practice, because if you don't wear them that often, then it's going to take you longer to get used to them. It's going to take you longer to apply them. I would go ahead and just buy yourself a couple pair of those. They are reusable as well, so it's not one use and done, as long as you're taking care of them, putting them back in the container, as well as just peeling off the glue. Once the glue is dried and you take them off, then they will last longer and you can get a couple uses out of them. And there's different techniques, there's different ways. Some people cut them into threes, which you will see here. So here are the lashes. Now you can see how each lash has a section where there's a whole bunch of hairs together. So if you decide to cut the lash into three and apply it into three sections, that it might be easier than applying just one whole strip. Make sure you're cutting in between the sections and not right in the middle of the section, because then you're going to have a whole bunch of loose hairs. Now if you are going to apply the whole lash, just also make sure you're measuring the lashes on your eye, because not everyone's eye shape is the same. So you want to measure the lash on your eye and see if it's too long, which if it is, you do want to trim them. And I always recommend trimming them from the outer part, just because I like it being shorter to longer. If I have to keep trimming from the outer, you see how that would take away the shortness, and then it would just kind of be almost the same length. It would kind of blend in with each other, versus if I cut from the outer, it's always going to be longer on the outer side than on the inner side. So it all depends on how you feel comfortable. It's not going to affect the lash. It's just the look that you're going for. So if you want to cut from the outer or the inner, but you do want to make sure that they do match your eye. You don't want to just put one full strip of lash on your eye, and even if it's too long, you're like, oh, whatever, it'll be fine, because then it's going to start like drooping down, and then you don't want your eye to be drooped down. You want it to lift the look up, which is going to be more flattering. And then of course with lashes, don't start off with the biggest, baddest pair out there. Go with more natural ones, ones that basically blend into your lash your lashes and you can't really even tell that you have false lashes on. That way you can kind of just get the use of applying them. They're not big and you're getting in the way. And as well as if you wear them for work or whatever, they're not going to be too much. The glue that I use is from Duo, and it is the dark tone glue, so it does come off black. The reason I like the black glue is just because it kind of blends in a little bit more. If you get the clear, it is white, but then it does clear down. I kind of don't like the way the clear looks even after it clears out. I always go for the black one, as well as have a liquid liner. I have this one's the L'Oreal Super Slim Infallible 12-Hour Wear liquid eyeliner, and it's like a felt tip. It just looks like that, and then I can kind of just fill in the gap if there is a little gap between the false lashes and my real lashes. If you want the line to look even more smoother, you can even apply some liquid eyeliner or gel eyeliner or pencil, dark eyeshadow, whatever you want on your eyelash line first before applying the eyelash. That way and you won't be able to tell too much where your false lashes and your real lashes begin and end. So when taking off your eyelashes, I always start at the outer edge and just pull them off with tweezers, and they'll look like that. Now I think I wore these before, and I think I have trimmed them already. And of course, the first thing you want to do is just kind of flex them, play with them a bit, just to get them a little bit more flexible. That way they'll be a little bit more easier to sit on the eye and go with your eye shape. Now, another thing that people debate on is whether to put eyeliner or not eyeliner, to put mascara on first or after your lashes, and it all again depends on you. So I highly recommend that if you are just applying false lashes for the very first time, do not put mascara on. I do have mascara on just because I am a little bit better with applying my lashes, but if you are just beginning, having mascara on your eye makes your natural eyelashes are longer, thicker, and when you apply them, they're just gonna kind of get in the way. And it's still annoying. Like, even once you get better at applying your lashes, it's still annoying with the mascara. But the reason that I apply my mascara first is because I don't want to apply it after applying my lashes and then getting mascara onto my actual false lashes, because that's what's going to ruin your lashes. It's going to take away the life of them. First things first is applying the glue. So this is what the glue looks like, the actual packaging. And you don't want a whole lot of glue. Okay, so I'm going to just apply the glue onto the lash line. And I'm not cutting these because I believe I did already cut them and measure them, if I'm not mistaken. But if they were brand spanking new, I know for sure I would have to cut them, because the majority of the time any lash that I buy is too long for my eye shape. So you're just gonna let them dry for about 45 seconds to a minute. The tackier the glue, the better it will be for your application. So wait 45 seconds, a minute, and just let it dry. And you can do your eyeliner, you can do your mascara, you can kind of like multitask while the glue's drying, and then stick it onto your eye, and it will just stick instead of like moving around and making a hot mess. Okay, so now that my lash glue is dry, I'm just going to use my fingers. You can use your fingers or you can use tweezers. Just don't pinch your eye or stab yourself in the eye. They do have lash grippers, which again I recommend if you are a new beginner with lashes. The Kiss brand comes with the lashes, the glue, it's like a starter kit, and then it comes with the safe tweezers that are made for lashes to just boop, pop them right on. So I highly recommend that kit. It's like maybe $9 and change at Walmart, but it is so worth it if you are really trying to get into wearing lashes. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look down. You don't want to look like up or up, because you're just going to make things worse for yourself. So you want to make sure you're looking straight down, And make sure your hair is out of your way because you don't want the glue sticking to your hair. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop it on the eye. And then I'm going to adjust it. I always use my finger to kind of pinch right at the inner corner because that's where I have the most difficulty. And then the outer corner I always do last. And then I just use my own fingers to pinch. And then they're on. I'm just gonna go in and just kind of go on top of the lash line. Just kind of do like a quick line, and you can see how it kind of just makes the lash blend in, and then I can just do the same thing on the other end. Just like that. So just remember, it's gonna take time, it's gonna take practice. You can try different techniques, try cutting them into 3 sections, try, you know, lighter, more natural lashes before going to the fake lashes, and using, you know, putting no mascara on at first and then putting on mascara and then trying it that way. So there's different techniques, there's different ways, but the most important thing is practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Alright guys, so for today, these are all my tips and tricks that I have for you. Comment below, and please do not forget to subscribe as well as like. And yeah, until next time guys, thanks for watching. Bye.